Roll the intro. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand spanking new episode of Bitcade. We are back. This is returning from PAX West 2019, which is going to be our first topic. The second topic, we are going to be talking about ads on Mixer. And then the third topic, we're going to be going through the rest of the year, talking about the games that we are excited for the remaining of 2019, now that we're heading into the fall season. This is Ashton Staub. My name is Ryan A. E. Moore. Let's get into it. So, first topic is PAX West 2019. Now that we are almost a month separated from it, how did you feel about this PAX so far of an overall?
So, my initial thoughts before we went was I was setting the bar pretty low, mainly because I feel like next year is when all the developers are going to whip their big old dicks out and show everybody what they got, show everybody what they're working with. And that pretty much held true. There wasn't a whole lot there that I was incredibly interested in. There were a few things I had no idea were in the making and apparently were really fun. But, there wasn't a whole lot that I particularly cared about in terms of, like, AAA experiences.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I was bringing up the timer. I wasn't,
Wow.
texting anybody or anybody.
Sure you weren't.
Believe me, I wasn't. Anyways, we were, we did go to PAX, and as soon as I think I kind of agree with you. I was kind of going in with low expectations, but there was a couple nice surprises in there. The games that I probably wouldn't have played if there were those big games that were there, and I think it was definitely a quieter PAX. Xbox did not make an appearance this year, which was interesting. Ploy, I've never seen that happen. PlayStation did make an appearance, so they skipped E3 but showed up to PAX, so that was weird. Nintendo was there. Ubisoft, no EA. That was another company that did not make their appearance this year, and Bethesda wasn't there this year, so that was another.
Yeah.
So a few big heads weren't there, but taking up those spots were some smaller groups, which definitely I think was okay. It was an okay PAX. It wasn't the best PAX, but it was an okay one. So
Yeah. This was my third one. Yeah.
I think so.
I've
gone 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. This is my seventh PAX.
I went 17, 18, 19.
Okay.
So this is probably my least favorite one.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, again, there wasn't anything there that I was really looking forward to being there. Before they would kind of hint at certain things being there, like when Destiny 2 was there back in 2017.
Now, Destiny was at PAX, but they were not in the full force like they were before.
Yeah, so there wasn't those crazy experiences. There was that thing that they did, the escape room, but we didn't actually do that.
Nope.
So, I mean, that was one experience we could have done, but didn't.
Yeah, we really didn't expand ourselves out to. Sorry, I'm trying to get this thing, but it's teetering.
Yeah, you're shoving the mic in your mouth.
Hey, sometimes you got to do it.
Got to pay them bills.
I do. This is actually the good mic stand. There we go. Okay. I noticed that we didn't go anywhere really. We went to the Sheridan, which is literally right next to the Washington State Convention Center. And then we didn't go anywhere else, and I didn't feel the need to do that.
Yeah, everything was pretty much at the convention center itself. There wasn't you didn't have to really go anywhere. Like before, you'd have to go to the Paramount, for the PUBG thing that happened last year, and then before that was the Destiny thing, and it was a huge experience. And they needed that space. Well, PUBG didn't, but.
Yeah, it was mainly Twitch trying to get some money, and then they were like, "We need a game," and then they got PUBG Mobile.
Yeah,
which is weird.
But is whatever. But my thing is, I would like to see the other venues be worth it to go.
Yeah, well, originally they had swag bags in one of the hotels.
Yes,
and they don't do swag bags anymore. It's literally just in the app, and then it's coupon codes that you can get really whenever, because usually the
Yeah.
website is running the deal that they're giving you. But I also, this is the first year that they did security through metal detectors. That was an interesting thing. I think that was also the reason why we didn't really go anywhere, because then it was the
You have to
constant
come back
thinking of,
in.
yeah, like, okay, now I got to drop all my garbage here so that, like, my backpack and everything, otherwise I'm sitting through another 15 minutes getting through the security lines. Now, I understand why we need security lines, and I know that people are just trying to do their job, and some people do it more efficiently than others. Some need to do it more efficiently than others, but I don't know, it's just a thing you gotta go through, and this is the first year they tried it. Definitely there's need for improvement, because, like, constantly in my mind I'm like, Disney does this all the time, and why are we going slower? Like, I understand why we're going slower for them right now, but we have more metal detectors than Disney does. Now, one thing that Disney does do, well, say that 3 times fast, they separate bag check and the metal detectors. So you go through your bag check, they check your bag. If you don't, then you just move through. And then if you did get your bag checked, then sometimes they'll have you go through a metal detector. Or I think now they just put you through a metal detector. But they're
Yeah.
separated, so there's a little bit of distance, so that the people that don't have a bag can just get checked and walk through.
Yeah,
They
so
can skip that
they
line.
started doing that like the third day. They would reserve metal detectors, like two of them,
Oh
all the
yeah,
way to the side
for no
for
bags.
for no
Yeah,
bags
yeah.
or very small bags.
So they were learning, but it was not great.
But again, the same people, staff pro, the people that were doing the security, and they're there every year. They do this exact thing at all the Seahawks games,
Oh.
all that, Husky games, college football for Washington. But it's not staff pros like first rodeo, but I think it was more the fact that maybe it was PAX kind of like figuring out what they wanted to do, and they had an
Yeah.
idea, and then staff pro was like, okay, fine.
Well, it is a constant stream of people too, as
Yeah.
opposed to like the football games or the baseball games. It's just one time that's usually happening, because it's the mass flood goes into the
Right.
stadium and then they all stay there, as opposed to PAX is constant, like, okay, well, there's people leaving and then they're going to have to go through the thing again, and then they just do this whole thing, because then eventually we just decided, like, oh, we're going to go eat, all right, just drop our bags off here, we're going to
Yeah.
go.
You want
We'd
to,
rather go do something than come back, than take our shit with us and then come back.
and that's the thing too, because like the past couple of years, we would kind of like vlog on our way to places. This year, we didn't really have that opportunity, because then we'd have to like worry about taking up so much time to get back into the convention
Yeah,
center.
that's why most of the PAX highlight reel, which should be coming out soon, is mainly just in the convention center, because there just wasn't really anything to film outside of the convention center. Like, there was things driving up and down the road, but that was really it. There was mainly just everything happened in the convention center, and which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because then that means there's less traveling for us, but that means there's more people in the convention center. So
Because like in previous years, you would have it to where it was a little bit spread out, a little bit, so that way it wasn't super congested. It felt way more packed in this year.
it definitely did. There were moments where it was like,
but-
especially at the Borderlands booth, it was just
Yeah.
like, what the hell's happening?
But the
here?
weird thing is that I'm pretty sure they sold less tickets this year. It took them longer to sell their tickets this year.
I think they still had
So-
Monday tickets going up to PAX weekend. I don't
So-
think they sold out, which is also something to think about, because I don't remember a PAX never not selling out, like PAX West never not selling out. Like last year, it was a little bit lower, and then this year, I think you could still buy Monday tickets up till, I think, the weekend, or at least the week before. I saw tickets were still available, because PAX was still posting on Instagram and Twitter like, hey, their tickets are still available. But like, nevertheless, the show still was flawless. Like, I think the best shows are when you go to them and you don't notice anything. Obviously, the security thing is a thing, but that's not PAX's issue. That's the security company trying to figure out a system, I guess, with Penny Arcade, but they're not the ones that are in charge of that. It's the security company that's having to be in charge of that. So other than that, the show seemed to flow well. There just wasn't really that much to look at. I mean, in the sense of outside of the convention center.
Yeah, I mean, this was definitely the year for indie developers and stuff like that, like this is where they shine. This was like the year that they got the most attention, in my opinion, because there wasn't, they weren't overshadowed by, like 100 AAA games that are out there. We had a couple double A's. We played Predator, which you can see on the channel, and that's a double A game. Then we had Death Stranding, a trailer.
Yeah,
That was a AAA, but
yeah, that was definitely that was a AAA game that they were, but it was behind closed doors. Like some companies do that. This was the only company this year that did the whole box trailer thing. You can watch the Death Stranding video to watch that too. But there's a we also played Roller Champions.
Roller Champions, which is a lot of fun.
That was really fun.
Also, check that out.
Then we did play Ghost Recon. That video is coming soon. Probably if you're watching the first part of this, if you're watching the first bit of this episode, the Ghost Recon episode will be coming out next week. So, yeah, I think there were, but yeah, like going back to what I said before and going into kind of what you were saying, is there were games that I wouldn't have played that I played this year.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't have probably played Roller Champions if I saw, like, let's say Halo was coming out this year. I probably would have played Halo over anything else. I would have probably
Halo
played
a couple times.
If Last of Us was there, I would have played Last of Us. Like my time would have been focused on those other games while you have these other games that are maybe something cool, maybe not. But yeah, like I think it was, there were some stinkers that I was like, no, I'm not into this.
Yeah.
But there were some cool like situations that we got to do. There was a game that Tiny Build was demoing where you sat in the coffin and you played on the Switch.
Experience.
That will be in the highlight reel. But they literally had a full real coffin and you sat down and played this game.
Fog machines.
Yeah.
They made like a little graveyard setting. It's pretty cool. And then you got like this fucking bright ass like highlight orange hat.
Oh yeah, I should have wore that hat. That stuck out.
Oh my god.
But is it me or were those super comfortable?
They were pretty comfy.
Yeah.
I will say the game isn't my speed.
No, I was
not my type of game. It was really cool looking for what it was.
Yeah. It was like an isometric sort of top down.
Yeah, it was one
like
of those
dungeon crawler sort of thing.
Think of like, for those of you who don't know those terms, think of like how Pokemon on the Game Boy was. Like that's what we're
it's like
at.
that camera angle. Yeah.
So, it was interesting. Yeah, I mean there was a couple cool experiences. I didn't really see anything in the Indie Mega Booth that I really cared for. In previous years we did play a few of them, but I think we were more. I think the Polish.
Yeah.
For all the Poland developers, they had some cool stuff.
Yeah, Blair Witch was there. Game Deck, I think, is the game that I played. And then you played a weird game too.
Oh man,
I can't remember what it was.
I'm trying to remember what it's called.
It's kind of like what Remains of Edith Finch sort of flavor of game.
It's pretty cool. It's like a post-apocalyptic, like nuclear winter type situation.
Yeah.
And you're like this younger girl, and your mom's out, and then you're like getting raided, and you got to run out the back door and like book it. And
I didn't watch you get to that point.
Yeah, it's weird. It's slow paced because that's what the genre is, but it's very pretty and very cool.
Yeah, I played Game Deck, which is, I think they're trying to aim for next year is the game sort of window that they're trying to go for, but so you play as a detective that is in this cyberpunk world, but you go into like virtual reality to like deal with crimes. And in the demo, you were like playing in this like Farmville sort of thing, and there's like you start to realize like the guy is using these like teenage people to farm in the game, but they can't leave because it's virtual reality. So it's really weird. Like there's this whole crime thing, and like you have to solve it and whatnot. I didn't finish the demo, ran out because it was timed, but yeah, it was pretty interesting. I was like, oh man, I'm actually kind of into this. You get like dialogue choices and everything, so it was pretty cool.
And there's titties.
They're not in your face. They are like pixelated people. It's from like a top-down view as well. Blair Witch was also in that area as well. But that was those were like the only 3 games that I knew. There was that weird game that I didn't know what they were doing, but they had this giant machine that was like a rotor phone, and like you could hear the phone and it like dials and stuff. It was really weird. It was just like a specific box that they were playing with. They weren't playing with a controller or keyboard. It was next to your game.
Oh.
Yeah, you didn't notice that?
I didn't know that was I thought that was a prop.
No, that was they were using it to play the game. I was like, I don't know what the heck you're doing, but okay. What was also around there?
There's Playdate, which we also
Playdate,
video
yeah.
of.
That was very weird. That was like
Probably not gonna get it.
no,
A little expensive.
Yeah, that was just like it felt solid, but then like the little crank thing. Did you ever crank the crank? Like, did you ever move it? So it has this sort of like force that's in it. So like you don't feel like you're just taking a plastic bit and you're just flicking it around. You like, even though in the video I sometimes will do this because there's like a flat piece on this like this crank, and you can kind of move that kind of flips around. So you can kind of take your finger and just like flip it around to kind of move through the game. And but it didn't feel cheap. Like it felt like there was something in there holding it together that made it like actually a thing. But like I said in the video, is like $150 for that is a little steep, but you know, it's something. It's different.
It's
I will
definitely a
say
niche
it's
thing.
different.
It's really cool idea,
Yeah.
but I don't see myself spending the money for it.
Um,
Google Stadia was there.
Google Stadia was there.
Check that out. If you want to check that video out, we have some very
That's our number 1 video on our
That-
channel now. It shot.
people
in,
feel
like,
very
3
strongly about Google Stadia,
Yeah.
and even if you don't agree with this, I highly recommend you check it out and leave a comment what you think.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people left comments on that. That definitely stirred a little bit of the internet pot there, which was great. We love hearing feedback from you guys. Because the thing is I wasn't in that video, and I eventually got to play Google Stadia with Doom. And we didn't make a video for Doom because we weren't allowed to record. But I guess we could just do that right now. Because like we got to play Doom on Doom Eternal, which is the newest one that's coming out.
On a monitor.
On Google Stadia. Yeah, we played that actually on a Chromebook, or on the whatever Chromebook that they had there, and it was using Google Chrome to stream it. I tried putting it through the gauntlet. I tried firing that thing, like jumping around, like jumping off. How fast would it respawn me if I died? So I'd jump off like 5 times and see if it like put me back really quickly, and it did. And then Nate didn't have so much luck with us. His shit the bed really bad.
Yeah, I think his crashed.
Yeah, it jittered. It like pixelated his screen, and then it crashed. It closed out Stadia.
It also happened to somebody else too.
It did before we got up there. And
you wouldn't believe how quick they jumped on that though.
Yeah, they were immediately trying to fix his thing, and then but the thing is like out of the 3 of us, we didn't really find a problem. You and I didn't find a problem.
I mean, there was like the beginning. There was some resolution issues, a little bit of frame drop. It got down to maybe like 20 frames.
Oh, I didn't have frame rate issues.
I did the beginning, like the first minute, and then after that, it was solid. It was good.
Yeah, I think it was like 1080p 30. I think in the cutscenes, there was definitely a lack of resolution, which I've kind of noticed on streaming stuff, that when it gets into a cutscene, they don't really work very well, and then when it gets into gameplay, then it works perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's up with that, or is that what's in technology of streaming games that causes that sort of thing? But when I played it, there wasn't really that
cinematics,
much.
I believe, were in engine, so it wasn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
But I mean, I've noticed that even playing like Gears 5, I'm not streaming Gears 5, but I mean, there's moments where I'll see the difference between, okay, this is the cutscene, and then as soon as it's trying to do this like seamless cut into gameplay, I noticed that like, okay, now we're in like 60 frames per second, we're in 4K. Like the what do you call it? The cutscenes are in 4K, but they like they're not in 60 frames. They're probably a solid 30. And then as soon as you get back into gameplay, they'll all start moving like really motion, and you're like, oh, okay. So I think that's kind of what's implemented in that in the Doom thing, is at least what I noticed. But I did notice resolution was a
Right.
little bit not great. It was not great.
Now, before everybody freaks out in the comments, because it definitely happened last time we talked about Google Stadia, just want to make it clear, we're not shitting on Google Stadia.
No.
I did in the last video, absolutely did, because it deserved it. But that was my opinion.
Hey,
You can have a different one.
Hey, this is our it's our channel. You can
but
say whatever you want.
just to let you guys know, we are getting Google Stadia upon request, and we're going to review it at home experience,
Now,
convention
did you
center
hear
experience.
that they are running out of pre-orders now?
Okay, so I guess I got to do that tonight.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh my god, I want that controller though.
Got to bust out that credit card. All
Yeah.
right, so we will be getting it, both of us, and we're both going to test it different ways and give an honest review. Obviously, pretty cynical so far about it.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Again, I'm not completely sold on it. I do think it's, maybe it's that thing of, for journalists that are in the gaming industry that which we aren't, but
No.
like, hey, whatever
not
happens, whoever
yeah.
knocks on the door, knocks on the door. You know what I mean? But anyway, they I can see it being cool when you like travel. If you're going like
On the go game.
yeah, if you're traveling to family's house and they got internet connection, and then you just take your Google Chromecast and your controller and you just shove that thing in. It kind of has that Switch mentality of where, like, instead of you being able to play your game, now you're just taking your console with you. You're just unplugging, plugging it into a TV, and calling it a day. Now, the real test is if you can play it on hotel Wi-Fi.
No, you cannot.
I know.
Guarantee.
I'm curious though. That would be a video,
Dude,
I'd be curious
hotels,
to see.
usually you're going to be getting like 8 megabits.
Oh,
a
I know
second.
it's trash.
Like,
I know it's trash, but I want to know though. I want
You
to.
want to put it on the lowest setting, see if you can play consistently.
Yeah, I wonder how that works though, because I can't talk about that. Anyway, I think that the Stadia can definitely fix either what it's doing, or if there is problems with it. I think there are going to be moments where it's going to crash, and I understand that. There are moments where it's going to look absolutely beautiful, and you're going to wonder, like, how is this even running? Like, there was moments even when I was playing Doom where I was like, man, I'm jumping around a lot and I'm not experiencing any lag.
Yeah.
Like, I understand you're plugged in hardline, whatever, but it's still not on it's not on the laptop. It's not anywhere here. It's somewhere else. And the fact that the latency, I didn't really feel latency in my gameplay.
No, I didn't have any input lag.
Which is insane. I've played other sort of streaming stuff, and realizing it in Stadia, it definitely is something. But there's a big but, but I still don't know if this is going to be big right off the bat. I don't know, and
People are definitely going to wait to see how it goes.
That's true, but I'm also more interested in what xCloud has got, because if Microsoft can pull off just download the xCloud app and you can start playing Gears 5, I'm already sold. Like, you can play Halo Infinite, you can play Sea of Thieves, you can play our backwards compatibility with like Fable and games and Forza.
They have the setup already to go. So
Google doesn't have those. It goes back into not just the actual console, but it goes into the game library that they have. And I know we're going off a little bit topic here talking about Stadia, but I just wanted to I'm curious to see what they do. And now they do have the third party support. They got to get that first party.
I'm very surprised they don't have any first party games with launch.
They do have like second party, but they're very indie sort of games. They're
like
definitely not the caliber of like a Halo or a God of War.
Maybe they're just doing that to see if it'll catch on, and that's why they haven't done it. Or it could be an oversight. Who knows?
Yeah.
We don't work at Google, so we couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
But I think that's all we're going to talk about Stadia. We already have a video on it.
Yeah, we'll move on from it. Let's see. What else did we play in that main hall there? We did play Ghost Recon. We talked about it.
Meh.
It's here and there. We're not
Recon fans.
Yeah, drawn in from that demo. Nate, he's a Ghost Recon fan. He liked it. He's going to get it. So there you go. And then what else did we play? I'm not thinking of too much anything else that was at PAX. that we kind of delved into.
Oh, I got in the PAX arena. I was
you
doing
were
the Rocket
there.
League tournament. Got to. If I won one more game, I would have been in the quarterfinals, which would have been cool. I would have won some money.
Yeah, but you faced off against some Rocket League streamers.
Oh
so
boy, did I!
they
oh
they
wow,
kind of pooped on you there.
Yeah,
a
they
little
were
bit.
the highest ranked team.
Yeah.
They had the highest MMR in the tournament. I'm like, oh great, I'm fucked.
Yeah, it was. We do have recordings of that, so if you guys want like a little highlight thing, though, you do know that he didn't make it. Still, I thought it was cool. Nate and I thought it was cool, so we recorded a little bit of it.
Yeah, it
so
was
if you
on-
want
on
like a little,
camera.
if you want a
It's
little
cool.
bit of highlights, it was on PAX Arena, and we did record it. So just comment section below if you want that highlight reel.
Man,
Um,
if only I'd kept playing Rocket League.
Yeah,
I hadn't played in like 6 months.
or if you had someone up there that actually you knew, that you might have been a little bit.
or was actually good at the game.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I think I noticed like as soon as you guys were like getting, you communicated a little bit more. You guys did better, but like you were saying that you guys weren't even really talking, so I was like, oh, it kind of didn't show. I thought it was actually you guys communicating. But yeah, that was pretty cool. You've never done a tournament ever?
No, it was
Yeah.
my first experience, and it was quite the experience.
Would you do it again?
Oh, absolutely, I would.
Hmm.
As long as it's a game that I play.
Yeah, it was kind of a last minute thing. We were walking by it on like Saturday,
Yeah, it was Saturday.
and then
yeah.
yeah, because you played Sunday and then you came back Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was like I looked around. I'm like, where'd Ashton go? And then Nate's like, oh yeah, he's going to sign up for that tournament thing that he was talking about. I was like, oh okay. And I walked over there, and you're like filling out all the paperwork. I'm like, okay, man, he's really doing it.
Hey, man. You
Yeah.
know, I was telling myself that I was going to do a tournament this year, and
Well, the other thing is like, what
Shit,
else?
I did one.
What else were we gonna do? Like that was we
Yeah.
did a lot of content, so I think that was
we
definitely
did
like,
do a lot of
thing.
stuff.
Yeah.
So you know,
Even
we're
though it doesn't sound like we played a lot of stuff, we were there a long time, and standing in those lines is a little bit.
we had to take
hard
some
sometimes.
breaks. We
Yeah.
had to take some breaks at BYOC and sit down. I think we played a lot of No Man's Sky, some Star Wars Battlefront.
We did
2.
play No Man's Sky. Now this kind of relates into PAX. Like we were at BOC and we did play. How did you think of Skyfall? No Man's Sky.
I really liked it.
Yeah, like I never played it.
I didn't play it
and-
at launch, so
Yeah, and that was No Man's Sky Beyond. It definitely like it looks pretty, plays nice. Oh,
plays very good.
yeah. All three of us were like playing it, and before we knew it, we were sitting there playing for 2 hours.
Yeah,
And I was like,
it's
oh my god,
crazy
we just
quick.
lost a whole bunch of time there. So it's definitely sort of Minecrafty, but it's weird because you don't need to play with other players. You can just kind of play
Yeah.
around other players, and that was kind of
It's
weird.
more like hanging out and like just doing your thing.
Yeah,
man. Like,
yeah.
It's
Just
it's
enjoying
pretty
it.
cool.
And then we did play a lot of Star Wars Battlefront 2 after you installed it over the PAX Wi-Fi, which shall never be done again. It took him 3 days to install Star
It
Wars
took
Battlefront
3
2.
days, and
Oh,
that
my
was consistent, like day and night. It
Yeah.
was still downloading. There was no pausing.
Oh my god. Yeah. So those were the games that we kind of played at PAX, but not. It was like PAX adjacent. So,
Yeah.
was there any games that you wanted to play that you didn't play?
Not really. No, I mean there was Borderlands, but I only wanted to go play that for the gear, which we actually got.
Yeah, we
anyway.
did. We did get it.
Monday they ended up. Oh, we forgot we had these like extra 5 boxes of merch here
Yeah.
for the playing. Here,
Because
everybody.
they were only giving out specific amounts each day, and then they had judged it too much, and that's why Monday is a really good time to go to PAX, because that's usually when merch booths are just giving away stuff, because they know that it costs more money to actually send it back than it does to just give it away.
Yeah.
So they'd rather just give it away. So yeah, the Borderlands team had boxes, like I don't know, 30 boxes behind a black curtain.
Yeah, I don't know if all of them were filled or what, but like they were giving out the masks, they were giving out the shirts, they were giving out
Posters.
The posters.
Posters look really
yeah,
cool.
they're really cool. Yeah, and there's like a collection of like what 6 or 7 of them.
Yeah, and they're all like based on like other art pieces. Like there's
Yeah.
like Psycho Screamer, like he's doing like the Scream. What else was there? There was like a Picasso sort of one, and they're all really nice.
Yeah.
They're all really nicely done.
Well done. Yeah, they're pretty good.
But yeah, they just gave them away. They gave the bags away and whatnot. The one thing we didn't get was like pins. Wasn't there a pin that came with if you
Yeah,
played it? But that
but,
was pretty much the only thing you didn't get. Yeah. I would say probably Borderlands would be cool to play, but that line capped so fast every single time, and it would cause this massive congestion. And I
Yeah,
think by the
got
last
a bad
day,
spot for that.
yeah, by the last day they were not putting up with it. They were like, "Nope, we're capped. Get out of here. Like, go do something else." And they were not moving into a secondary line. They just wrapped around the booth, which was okay. I'm okay with that because
The game was coming out in like another
it's
week
out.
and a half.
Yeah,
so
it's out now.
By,
So
by
2
then I
weeks.
was like, it's not like the game's coming out like the end of the year, so we didn't have to play it.
Yeah. But yeah, that was pretty much PAX. It was a very kind of chilled back PAX. Just enjoying hanging around Seattle and doing that. I mean,
Next year though, oh
yeah.
boy, it's gonna be a big one.
Yeah,
It's gonna
it's
be
gonna
the
be
new
big.
consoles. Xbox better show up, or otherwise I'm gonna be mad.
Speaking of being mad at Xbox, let's move on to our next topic.